everyone, it's Nicole for Simon Says Stamp, and today I'm sharing some thankful greeting cards that I created using components from the Simon Says Stamp September 2024 card kit called Chunky Thankful Greetings. In this video, I am using mostly components from the Simon Says Stamp card kit with a few additional supplies from my stash thrown in. I'm starting with the cotton candy and lemon chiffon cardstock included in the kit, trimming down the panels to 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. I'm going to end up using all 8 of these pieces for my 4 cards today. Often when I am creating cards, I love to be able to create multiples with one crafting session, as that just gives me more cards to have on hand to send out. To start, I am taking the beautiful embossing folder included in the kit. This is called the Butterfly Burst Embossing Folder. How I find the Simon Says Stamp embossing folders work best in my Spellbinders Platinum is I place the cardstock in the embossing folder. I place it right on my platform B, and then I use the packaging from the embossing folder, the cardboard packaging, as my shim. For me, that just gives me the best results with these particular embossing folders. I'm going to go ahead and emboss 4 panels, 2 of the cotton candy and 2 of the lemon chiffon. I'm going to leave the other 4 cardstock pieces plain. That's going to serve as the background for my card and give me a wonderful spot to stamp some sentiments a little bit later. We're going to be doing the super popular blackout technique with these today. This is where you emboss your embossing folder on some cardstock or paper, and then instead of using the raised image, you're going to flip it over and use the debossed side. I like to use some archival black for this, but any kind of black ink pad is going to work. I just find this gives me great results. I also love working on the Simon Says Stamp glass mat because it makes cleanup a snap. I am taking my ink pad and rubbing it over the cardstock. You can see the debossed area retains the color of the original cardstock, but then the rest of the panel is now black. It gives such a striking, beautiful result every time, and it is so easy to achieve. I find myself reaching for this technique a lot because, again, the results are just incredible. I'm going to do this for all 4 of my panels, and then we're going to add some fun shimmer spritz to these to finish it up. Now, before I do the shimmer spritz, I did go ahead and take the rest of my 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch panels, and I am taking a sentiment from the Chunky Thankful Greetings and stamping it along the bottom edge of all 4. I decided to mix it up a little bit. I did 2 with this greeting, thank you for knowing exactly what I needed. So we're going to do a pink and a yellow in this sentiment, and then we're going to switch the sentiment to another one for the other 2. That's something else that I like to do as well. You can totally take any kind of greeting or sentiment that you like, and maybe you want them all to be the same and do a thank you card set, etc., and that works too. All right. So now that I have all of these panels in place, let's switch it out and do the other greeting. I want to just make sure it's nice and centered. I do recommend using a stamp positioner tool for this, as it helps you get your greeting right where you want it to go. This greeting reads, "Thank you for your thoughtful gift," which I also think is a fantastic sentiment. So I'm using the smaller sentiments from this stamp set today, but it also comes with lots of variations and ways to customize that beautiful thankful. So this is going to give you an idea of how it looks, and honestly, it looks pretty just like this. I do want to take the florals from the Chunky Thankful Greetings, and I also want to take the beautiful butterfly included in the kit. So far, we have used the stamp set and 2 of the cardstock colors included in the kit for our cards. Next, I'm taking the yellow backgrounds and some fossilized amber distress spritz, and I'm going to spritz these backgrounds. This does give a beautiful shimmery finish and distresses it just a little bit. I love the effect of this over that blackout technique. Now on the pink backgrounds, I did think I'd use Pick Raspberry, but I ended up using worn lipstick to spritz over these. You do want to make sure that the ink is very well mixed up, so I like to make sure it's all shook up really good first, and then we're just doing a nice spritz over both. We're going to set these aside to dry while we work on some of the rest of our cards. Once dry, I am going to trim 3/4 of an inch off the bottom, or it could be the top, whichever you prefer, of my debossed and spritzed backgrounds. I measured the distance for the sentiment on those background panels, and that seemed to be about the right height for that, and I think that's going to look amazing. I'm going to go ahead and place some foam adhesive on the back of each of these panels. I love the Simon Says Stamp foam adhesive, and we're going to pop these in place to finish building the background of each card before we work on the florals and the butterfly. I found that about 5 strips worked really well here. Now, a little tip, if you're worried about lining your cardstock up perfectly when you have a background, is remove the insert from your MISTI, butt that cardstock background up against the corner, and then go ahead and layer in the layering piece, and you're going to get a perfect result every time. And here's what the pink background looks like. So pretty. Honestly, a little ribbon, and that would be good to go. But of course, I want to add even more. Using the Chunky Thankful Greetings stamp set and now the white cardstock included in the kit, this is the Neenah 110 pound weight cardstock, I'm going to ink up 3 of the florals using one color of ink, and then using the Simon Says Stamp pouncers, I'm going to ink a little bit darker color around the edges. That's going to give us a little bit more of an ombre effect with our florals. This is a great way to achieve beautiful results. I want to go ahead and do this for both my pink and my yellow flowers. I'm only going to stamp the pink ones here on camera, but the yellow ones will be done the same. In addition to the florals, we're also going to stamp the greenery for this from the Chunky Thankful Greetings right here using cabbage and artichoke colors of ink. For my flower centers, I am going to either use cappuccino or honey ink, and for the yellow flowers, that's butter and honey. So super simple. It doesn't take a whole lot of colors. I decided to keep it very monochromatic, which is generally my preference when creating cards. It seems like I gravitate towards that quite a lot. So we're going to grab several stems, lots of greenery. I do mention this quite often, but I find that while the florals provide that pop of color, lots of beautiful greenery just grounds florals so easily. And it's a really great way to achieve beautiful results. And again, you can see I'm using a pouncer to blend in that artichoke color over the cabbage to give a little bit darker effect. I don't want it to be super dramatic, but I like that little bit of pop of 2 colors. Then we're going to stamp our flower centers. I did just use an acrylic block to do this, and use the coordinating die to die cut these. Now, the coordinating Chunky Thankful Greetings die set is an add-on purchase. So if you love coordinating dies like I love coordinating dies, you may want to pick this up so you can use that with this wonderful stamp set. I think you will use this beautiful stamp set over and over. Once I have die cut all of my floral images, I'm going to take the flower center for my largest flower and stamp that using an acrylic block. Now I am taking all of my florals, plus I have used the really beautiful rose-winged butterfly die, also included in the kit, and vellum from the kit. So I die cut 4 of these rose-winged butterflies from vellum, and I am tucking some greenery and florals into this and adhering it right to the background of my card. We're using that beautiful vellum butterfly as a design element and embellishing it, I guess, if you will, with these stamped florals. And we're simply tucking them into the butterfly shape. I'm using a combination of foam adhesive and liquid adhesive to build my floral arrangement. Starting with the base of leaves and stems, once I have a good base, then I can start adding in my florals. I want to make sure that I have plenty of additional greenery. I did stamp several additional sprigs for my 4 cards today. So about 3 of the leafy pieces, 2 stems, and 3 florals filled in the space beautifully. Once we have all of our florals where we want them to go, that's when we can take the awesome sequin mixture you get in the kit. This is called the Northern Lights Embellishment Mix, and I have them in my favorite triangle trays from Simon Says Stamp, and then I can simply add some dabs of glue on my background, and I like to use the embellishment wand to easily pick those up and put them right where I want them to go. So again, our vellum, the butterfly, and these sequins are all from the kit. I love being able to use a kit. It just simplifies things so much when you are designing, and everything is made to coordinate and go together so beautifully. Oh, so pretty. Let's go ahead and put together our yellow background now. So again, there's that rose-winged butterfly from the kit. It's so, so pretty. Vellum is one of my favorite ways to soften effects on a card, and in this case, all the different layers just really serve to make a beautiful, elegant design. I'm kind of piecing the leaf or a couple of the leaves into the butterfly to start with, adding those foam squares on the back. And once I'm happy with the placement, then I peel off the backing and pop that in place. And from here, then we'll implement some more of the liquid adhesive. But I like to kind of start with that base of some greenery and the butterfly. And you'll notice that I'm just tucking my leaves and stems and all of that good stuff into the cutouts of this butterfly for placement. Once we're happy with all of the florals and butterfly on our card, again, we will take some of those Northern Lights sequins, glue those in place, and we are ready to finish the cards with our card bases. So I have a fun little tip for you today for card bases. Card bases might not be the most interesting thing, but hopefully this tip will help you. Have you ever had a card base where there's a little bit of white showing around the edge because maybe you didn't cut your panels quite to 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches? It happens to me quite often. I like to take a trimmer and I am going to trim off the tiniest, teeny little bit from 2 sides of my favorite card base. These are the top fold A2 sized card bases from Simon Says Stamp, and you can see it's just a scant little bit, making my card base itself just slightly smaller than the front panel. This is going to make, if I made any cutting errors at all with the panel for my card, it's going to make it so no white shows. This is especially helpful if you have a card base where it fits the entire card front like I do today, that's 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. So here I'm going to put some liquid glue all over the front of my card, and we're going to just glue that panel down in place, and you can see that it fills the space perfectly. Hopefully this little tip will help you when you are creating your card bases. I learned it from a friend and I found it just the best little tip. Now that I have all 4 of my cards put together, I am completely finished. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this video featuring the Simon Says Stamp September 2024 card kit called Chunky Thankful Greetings. The supplies I used to create my cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube for your convenience. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!
Hi there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at simonsaysstamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.